What's up guys, it's Zero here. Today we're talking about State of Decay 3 and a new game that has come out, guys, that a lot of people are enjoying while we're waiting for the release of State of Decay 3. So let's get into it. So guys, obviously we have been waiting and waiting a long time, it's felt like, for State of Decay 3. The reveal trailer comes out in 2020. We obviously have been getting more and more information very slowly, but it looks like State of Decay 3 is delayed once again to 2026, and we have no idea if it's going to be able to land in 2026 or if it's going to continue moving, into the later stages of 2026 or even into 2027. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but nonetheless, as we're waiting, guys, for this title, which a lot of people are really excited about it, even though it's taking forever, like myself included. I'm really excited about State of Decay 3, but man, it just is, there's probably some creative differences, probably some development hell issues going on over at Undead Labs. Like I said, there are things that are absolutely happening internally that we don't know about at this point, but there's a game that's come out, Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days, plays like State of Decay, meets this war of mine, so you can bet it's not pulling any punches. This is coming to us from Mark Delaney of GameSpot. I've long appreciated State of Decay as the exciting middle ground between an approachable zombie game like Days Gone or Dead Rising and unforgiving survival sims like DayZ and Project Zomboid. No series or game that I know of has found that same middle ground, harsh but digestible. But maybe that's no longer true. While I impatiently wait more news for State of Decay 3 from Undead Labs and Xbox, Into the Dead Our Darkest Days is giving me a similar experience with some welcome twists on the formula. Into the Dead might be a name brand undead devotees already know. Previous to now, it's been the name of the first-person auto-runner series on mobile. They're neat games, but they really aren't trying to do too much other than being a gritty, scary first-person take on something like a jetpack joyride, a fun, albeit one-note, time filler for bus rides or lunch breaks. Our Darkest Days is far from that and more in line with what a console or PC player might expect of a zombie game. For full disclosure, guys, I've not played this game. I am actually really interested, though, after reading this article, to check it out myself. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are going to be checking out this game, Into the Dead. Presented in a 2D art style, Into the Dead Our Darkest Days is essentially a side-scrolling State of Decay, and if that series isn't already unforgiving enough, it seems like Our Darkest Days also looked to this war of mine for inspiration. I recently checked out a demo for the upcoming game on PC, a demo you can now play yourself, by the way, and the best thing I can say about it is that I was so impressed that I actually stopped playing at a point when I could have gone further, because I want to preserve as much of the experience as I can for when the game is out, and my save data will carry over, but I saw enough to know this game is worth that deeper look. Dude, that's pretty awesome, man. I'm really excited about it, and I wanted to know from you guys, what did you guys think of this war of mine? That's another game that I don't feel like is talked about enough, but Into the Dead Our Darkest Days, this is interesting, right? I'm really, really intrigued by this, especially, obviously, looking for games to kind of hold over our appetite for State of Decay 3, before this game finally releases to the world. And guys, there's so many games coming out, but games that are kind of within the same realm, this might be an interesting one. Each game starts with you picking a pair of characters chosen as a duo. There's a white-haired high school coach and one of his student athletes looking for his family, an unexpected couple, an animal rights activist, and the rodeo man she once meant to protest, with an even more unexpected baby on the way, a therapist in her anger managing patient, and more. This surely sounds a lot like State of Decay if you know that series. It too gives you a few groups of characters to choose as your starters, albeit a trio in that case. The comparison goes beyond that. Like in Undead Labs' excellent series, each character has stats. In Our Darkest Days, they get 2 passive buffs and a debuff for you to consider before starting a new game. Also, like State of Decay, permadeath is an ever-present threat, and more than just a single zombie or 2 can spell certain doom for a novice player or a character who may be overtired, injured, or starving. In order to keep your earliest characters alive, you'll need to manage your time and their well-being. For example, the day-night cycle dictates that you'll assign characters to tasks and advance time to have them unfold. If you have a very tired character, you should send them to bed while the other may be called upon to head out into levels that seem to be procedurally generated to a degree, as loot drops and zombie destiny tend to vary. It only took me a few nights before both my characters weren't at their best. Daryl the coach was a lousy cook, but Leo was too tired to do the cooking himself, so I chose to send Leo to bed while Daryl went on a scavenging run at less than 100%. That was my first mistake. Dude, I gotta tell you guys, just like hearing about this, it does sound similar in ways to State of Decay 3, or I should say State of Decay as a franchise. The question, though, that I have, though, is, you know, are we going to be playing games like Into the Dead for a number of years still before State of Decay 3 comes out? I mean, because I feel like State of Decay 3 is supposed to come out now sometime early 2026. Maybe it'll get pushed to the summer, maybe to the fall, who knows? But at this point, guys, it is in a limbo state at this point in time. It is certainly having some issues internally from the higher-ups in the company. More than likely, higher-ups, like creative differences between the higher-ups and the people at Undead Labs, creative differences, or there's just development hell issues. They're trying to get past certain points and they're like just being, you know, stuck on different things, like they're stuck on getting things approved from the higher-ups. I mean, it could be an absolute disaster over there. And so, nonetheless, this sounds like something that could definitely quench our thirst before State of Decay 3 finally comes out. My initial reaction when I first saw Our Darkest Days was one of wishing it were more expansive. But after trying the demo, I found there's a ton of hidden depth for me to explore in what is shaping up to be a familiar and yet still fresh zombie saga. Though I generally favor a 3D open world setting to the more restrictive 2.5D perspective scene here, I also find that in a world that is already expected to get State of Decay 3 eventually, this different take on many similar ideas is a welcome alternative in the meantime. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days feels like it may have all the pieces in place to be a strong emergent story generator, and in my zombie-obsessed opinion, that's the connective thread that brings all of the best zombie games together, whether it's State of Decay, DayZ, or even Left 4 Dead. The all-time greats tend to offer systems that give me the latitude to tell stories of despair or heroism, community or chaos. Gotta tell you, man, I agree. Man, where is Left 4 Dead, by the way? Like, you know, are they ever going to make another Left 4 Dead? Or are they just going to, you know, going to let that wither away and they're going to obviously make another Back 4 Blood or something of that nature? Valve obviously making the Left 4 Dead games, but there's so many different, like, really cool zombie games that I would love to see return. You know, like Days Gone, I think that would be really cool to see a return of, especially, like, while we're waiting for State of Decay 3 to finally make its way into the ecosystem of gaming. It'd be really cool to see some other games make a presence, you know, while we're waiting for it. And this might be one, guys, to definitely check out. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days. If you haven't tried out this War of Mine, that's a really interesting title. There's a lot. I mean, look, guys, yes, I know the wait feels like it's just going on, but I do think with games like, you know, Dying Like the Beast, you know, you've got, you know, a number of other games that are going to be coming out here that are going to give us an opportunity to, you know, jump into the zombie world and hopefully quench our thirst for, you know, State of Decay 3 before it comes out. But let me know, guys, have you tried out this new game, Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days? Are you planning on playing the full version when it becomes available? What are you guys playing right now while you're waiting for State of Decay 3? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's have a real conversation about it. And for more State of Decay 3 content and videos, keep it right here.